A devoted teacher, a royal commission, and a journey of faith introduce a new phase of restoration in Ezra chapter 7, as Ezra finally enters the story that bears his name. With the temple rebuilt and worship restored in Jerusalem, attention now turns from rebuilding a sacred place to strengthening a people through the law of God. Years have passed since the temple was completed during the reign of Darius. During the reign of Artaxerxes, king of Persia, Ezra prepared to travel from Babylon to Jerusalem. The chapter carefully traces his ancestry through generations of priests, eventually connecting him to Aaron, Israel's first high priest. Ezra was therefore not simply a teacher. He belonged to the priestly line. He was also described as a scribe skilled in the law of Moses, which the Lord, the God of Israel, had given. Because the hand of the Lord his God was upon him, Artaxerxes granted Ezra everything he requested. Other Israelites joined him, including priests, Levites, singers, gatekeepers, and temple servants. They left Babylon on the first day of the first month and arrived in Jerusalem on the first day of the fifth month. The journey took approximately 4 months, and once again Ezra explains their success by saying that the gracious hand of God was upon him. But before describing the king's commission, the chapter reveals what shaped Ezra himself. Ezra had devoted his heart to study the law of the Lord, to obey it, and to teach its decrees and laws in Israel. That order is significant. He did not intend merely to teach others what Scripture required. He first sought to understand it and practice it himself. Artaxerxes then gave Ezra a remarkable written decree. The king permitted any Israelite in his kingdom, including priests and Levites, who wished to accompany Ezra to Jerusalem to do so. Ezra was commissioned to investigate conditions in Judah and Jerusalem according to the law of God that was in his hand. The king and his advisors also contributed silver and gold for the God of Israel, whose dwelling was in Jerusalem. Ezra was instructed to collect additional offerings from the people and priests throughout the province of Babylon. These resources were to be used to purchase bulls, rams, lambs, and the grain and drink offerings needed for worship at the temple. Any remaining silver and gold could be used according to what Ezra and his fellow leaders believed was consistent with the will of God. Artaxerxes also ordered the treasurers of the province beyond the river to provide Ezra with whatever he required, within specified limits of silver, wheat, wine, olive oil, and salt. The king commanded that everything required by the God of heaven for his temple be supplied carefully. He also exempted the priests, Levites, singers, gatekeepers, temple servants, and other workers at the house of God from certain taxes and duties. Ezra received authority to appoint magistrates and judges who understood the law of God to administer justice throughout the province beyond the river. Those who did not know the law were to be taught. Serious consequences were authorized for those who refused to obey the law of God and the law of the king. Faced with such extraordinary support, Ezra responded with praise. He blessed the Lord, the God of his ancestors, for putting it into the king's heart to honor the temple in Jerusalem. He recognized that God had shown him steadfast love before Artaxerxes, his advisors and powerful officials. Strengthened because the hand of the Lord was upon him, Ezra gathered leaders from Israel to accompany him. Ezra chapter 7 therefore marks an important change in the story. The temple had already been rebuilt, but restoring buildings was not enough. The returning community also needed instruction, obedience, and spiritual direction. Ezra's own preparation offers the practical lesson. Learn the truth, live the truth, and then teach the truth. His influence did not begin with public authority. It began with a personal decision to set his heart on understanding God's law and putting it into practice. Knowledge becomes far more meaningful when our lives reflect what we encourage others to follow. Ezra has received the king's authority and gathered people to accompany him, but the journey itself still needs careful preparation. Ezra chapter 8 follows Ezra to the Ahava Canal, where he gathers the returning families, discovers that no Levites have joined them, calls for a fast seeking God's protection, and begins the dangerous journey toward Jerusalem, carrying valuable treasures for the temple.